formerly known as Hugh Morris, the Laughing Man. And you're listening to In Your Head online.
All right, we're back. Welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I am the internet icon, handsome Jackie Jones, along with my right-hand man.
1-inch biceps, a power goat. How about that? Bah.
We don't get a ba? Oh,
Yeah.
ba. And the man all the way from the UK.
The voice of the... Hold on, I'll start again. The voice of the beautiful people and the cult of personality, Romeo's Choice, the Lionheart Barbie Richards. Potato Man.
Oh, man. There it is.
He's probably wondering, what the hell am I doing right now? But we have him, the return of the one, the only, the Hugh Morris, the Laughing Man, Bill DeMott. Welcome back to In Your Head.
I really, something's got to be done. that English guy, you're too much, dude. But I don't mean too much like in a good way. You're too much. I know for a fact you have a face for radio, because that voice has got to go. Other than that, I feel pretty good. That throws me off. The beautiful William Regal would kick your ass for talking like that.
Really?
I don't get it. Okay, moving on. I like the 1-inch bicep guy.
I'm the power
that's
goat.
a shoot name, too.
Yeah, him I can deal with.
Excellent.
English guy.
Well, they make fun of me if I talk too British, so I have to kind of change it up.
No. Listen, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. I got one good fight left of me, and it's coming right in your direction. That is horrendous. Handsome Jack.
Right.
I boo the English guy.
All right. He's booing the English guy.
Him.
I'm on your side. Yeah. We don't get along all the time either. I always tell him he needs a little more bass in the voice, but
he needs something.
He's still a good guy.
He's probably a great guy. I'm not feeling it. I got this thing about, I'm all right.
Well, let everybody know you're actually going to be appearing at Promo Last. It's the Atlanta Pro Wrestling Reunion Fan Fest, and that's June 4th and the 5th at the Renaissance Concourse Center in Atlanta, Georgia. And you can get all your tickets over at promolastevents.com. And if you can't spell, the link is right on the website. So you can just click it. It's like magic.
That's why they invented the internet. You know that? Because there's a lot of people who can't spell, but they can click the hell out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And you can tell that by the way they write.
Because they two-finger type it. I two-finger type it, but at least I can read.
Yeah. Do you enjoy, going to these events and meeting with the fans and maybe some of the guys you haven't seen for a while?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one especially because it's in Atlanta, and that's kind of home for me right now. And Atlanta's kind of where I guess I made a name for myself with WCW, and the list of people that are going to be there is crazy. People I haven't seen since WCW, and Kimberly and Lex Luger and Chief Jay Strongbow. I don't even know how you get that guy to Atlanta. I didn't even think Chief Jay Strongbow was still around. But Raven, Molly Holly, the Taskmaster himself. I look forward to being reunited with Kevin Sullivan most of all, and just sitting around and meeting some of the fans and just having a good time. I always like to have a good time, and I'm sure I'll say things I shouldn't say, but I'm fun.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Chief Jay Strongbow. We actually had him on the show last week. Have you had any contact with him in wrestling?
I met Jay Strongbow. Johnny Rods had sent Damien Demento, or Mondo Clean at the time, and myself to a show for WWF. And Chief Jay Strongbow was one of the agents there, and he very fondly let us know that he had no use for us. So that was my only run-in with Jay Strongbow.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure he won't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But I sure do.
So it wasn't fond memories.
Yeah, I thought it sucked, actually. Here he was, Chief Jay Strongbow. I remember, watching him, and I'm like, wow! And it was like, yeah, I got no use for you, kid. And I was like, that's awesome. Welcome to professional wrestling. I talk about it in my book. I talk about my experience with Jay Strongbow, and I probably wasn't very nice about it. But
Is that out?
What do I care? No, man, I'm hoping that the editing is taking so long. There's so many things that are being added to it, and I guess I'm going into a little more detail about things than I originally thought I would. But I look forward to the book coming out. I'm really hoping before the holidays the damn thing is on printed and people are making fun of it and burning it and trying to sue me for things I say and did.
Did you write it yourself?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I wrote it myself, and the cat that's doing the final edit with me is a tremendous guy. He really knows his stuff. He's a freaking wrestling almanac, and he's really put some dates and times together for me that I had no clue of what they were.
Mm-hmm.
So,
nope. I've always noticed that, for the most part, the books where the wrestlers actually wrote them themselves, I was enjoying the most. You can kind of tell that, like, their characters in the book, and some of the ones that are written by somebody else, you can kind of tell, like, someone just put together.
Yeah, I try. It didn't start out as a book. It was just notes over the years, and I put it together, and I kind of give myself up big time on it. But I've always tried to be honest about things, and I kind of give everybody a rundown on Bill DeMott, the Laughing Man, before and after. So I look forward to finishing that project and getting it going. And but I'm really looking forward to this thing in a couple weeks in Atlanta. It's a good deal. It's a good time for guys to get together and tell a few stories and just laugh at each other and the fans to see that grouping of people. There's a ton more. I mean, I haven't seen Paul Orndorff since WCW and guys like that. So I really look forward to the day.
You said about Kevin Sullivan being there. I actually pitched them an idea that they should. The guy who's running it, that they should do a Dungeon of Doom reunion sometime and get like kind of like a stage or a backdrop and bring in like you and Sullivan and
Ming and Barbarian.
Yeah,
I'd be all up for that. I think it'd be a great question and answer time to have the original Dungeon sitting around together. I mean, I'm all up for that. I'm really looking forward to seeing Kevin. I truly respect him, and I really enjoyed him, and I consider him a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in so long, but I'm all up for a Dungeon of Doom reunion. Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, there's so many great characters.
That was a good time, and it was a good place to be at the time, and I was a lucky son of a gun to be part of that. So.
Some people say it was a little cheesy and stuff, but I always enjoyed it. I kind of like that aspect of wrestling if it's not, too over the top. Did you like the group itself?
Yeah, I thought. I was, and it's funny we're talking about it now because that's the part of the editing stage we're in right now. The book, I really enjoyed that Dungeon, and that, to me, if I didn't come into WCW, getting introduced as part of the Dungeon of Doom, I probably wouldn't have gone as far as I did or lasted as long as I did. It was a good grouping of guys. It was, heavy hitters. Some of the nicest big men in the world, but every one of them could legitimately just put you over their knee and spank you if they wanted to. So I learned a lot from those guys, and I a lot of good friendships out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed the Dungeon, and the Dungeon led to the First Family, and the First Family led to the Misfits, and the Misfits led to me doing absolutely nothing in WWE, and it all worked out.
What was the thinking behind adding Conan to the Dungeon of Doom? He never quite seemed to fit to
me. What is his name? Barbie? What is he called? I can't answer the question. It's like Andy Rooney, a midget Andy Rooney. But I'll answer it. But this English guy is way off key. We're gonna have to talk.
Okay.
And there's no Cleveland in England, by the way.
Yeah, there is. I live in
it. There's no
Titusville
in New Jersey. No, you've never been there. I thought Conan was, my honest reaction to Conan being in the Dungeon was the same reaction as Conan being in the NWO and the Filthy Animals. Conan was a definite. He went to the best positions for him, and he always found himself. He worked his way into certain situations, and I thought it was okay. I wasn't feeling it one way or the other. He didn't last long with the Dungeon. He kind of branched out on his own, and then did his own thing with the the Wolfpack and stuff like that. But I personally, I like Conan. I liked working with him more than I liked working against him. It was a bit of a task, but it was all good.
A little while ago, you brought up Damien Demento, and I don't know if you know enough, but he's kind of like a cult guy now on the internet. He does these crazy videos, and you just have any like a good Damien Demento story?
Jeez, man. Yeah, let's see. The best story. Well, we were supposed to go to Puerto Rico. We got Hercules Ayala brought us down to Puerto Rico. Except I got on a plane to Puerto Rico, and Phil got on a plane to Florida. So that was the last time I had seen him. He went to work for Eddie Mansfield, and then later we met up again during something, and he explained how he pitched an idea to Vince of his new character to go back because he didn't want to be part of the, I guess the time they had like an A, B, and C squad, just because they were working 3 towns a night.
Mm-hmm.
And he had pitched a character called 3D, and he dressed in purple, but he would only work pay-per-views, and he had to have his own separate studio for the special effects. So I'm not sure if that's where he started to go awry or not, but he was an artistic cat. I've heard that he's done some things on the internet, and I think it's special. Just don't, I don't know where it comes from. I mean, I'm not a guy to get on the internet and YouTube and all that stuff. And I guess if you're trying to get back in the picture, you're trying to get. I don't know what his claim to fame is. He's very artsy. He's an artistic guy.
Yeah, the videos are very artsy. They're worth the effort to seek out if you can find them.
I bet I'd be fully entertained. We've had some good conversations. He's a very intellectual kind of guy.
Yeah, I always liked the spot when he used to turn the guy's head, and he would kind of mime salting their head before he bit them.
I think that was reality.
Right. We got some callers on the line. If anyone wants to call, the number is 508-644-8503. And you probably love this caller. He's calling in from Portugal. We've got Joel.
Portugal. If he speaks this English stuff, I'm hanging up.
Hello?
Oh, come on now. Hello?
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Now, speaking of regular voice,
who is this?
He really does. Really is from Portugal. I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm from Portugal. I was trying to do a lame British accent impression, but I failed.
You was very my lame. Friend. Well done.
Yes. Yes.
There's a sense of humor in Portugal.
Yes, it is good.
They share it.
We have something to be happy about ourselves. So yeah.
But you guys got some great fighters coming out of Portugal right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's at least. Oh no, there's none on the top of my head. Okay, you got nothing. What else?
Well, no, I'm offended. No.
No, don't be offended. It's not like you were born and raised there or anything. It's just that's where you live.
Yeah, sure. I have a couple of questions to you to ask you. I don't know if you really dwelled a lot on the WCW topic, but obviously you were one of the first opponents that Goldberg had.
I was the first opponent.
Exactly, the first, besides the Roddy Piper. My question to you is, from the get-go, as you were looking at Goldberg, were you seeing a promising new star from the get-go, or you thought this guy's going to fail hard?
I thought just like anybody else that night. I mean, there was talk that because Bill was in the power plant, and I know he was doing some stuff with DDP and working out, and I know they were looking at Bill. I don't think anybody knew what they really were going to do with him or how things were going to happen. So I didn't go into it going, wow, I'm about to make history, or this is going to be historical, or anything like that. I think it was just one of those things where I happened to be the opponent of a guy who was about to become a monster, and I think it didn't happen overnight. I think it happened with time and with the office, and then they started to see the reaction. So that's probably the biggest question to ask over my 20-year career is about the Goldberg match, and I'll say it every time the same way. I loved it. I think Bill's a great guy. I'm glad what happened to him, and if that's my claim to fame in wrestling, I'm glad to be a part of it. But I don't think anybody knew how big it was going to be, and I certainly didn't. I thought it was just another night of here's a big cat. They're going to try to get him over, and it worked, and we got him over, and I mean he was on a whirlwind from there. So
I get something to ask about that because they've tried that with lots of people. Just take a big dude and have him beat people, but it doesn't always work. What was it about Goldberg that really made it work?
I think it was just Bill himself had a I don't want to say uniqueness about him because he's a big bald-headed cat. He was athletic. I think the way he carried himself helped. I think the way that everybody took to him helped. I think everything was in the right place, you know what I mean, for him. And and everybody said, oh, this, and that about him, and they handed it to him. They don't hand you anything. Bill took the ball, he ran with the damn thing, and he made more than a career. He made a living out of it, and it moved on to other things for him. And I think it was just one of those things that it could have been anybody else, and it may not have worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
think. Yeah, I just think it was one of those things that, man, he was in the right place at the right time, and he put his heart into it. He really cared, and he just did his job.
Mm-hmm. As a fan watching it, just all his moves, they just look devastating, and that really added to it. It wasn't like you could tell, it doesn't really look very good. His stuff looked great.
Yeah, Bill was good at what he did, and he made everything count.
Mm-hmm. What was your second question, Joel?
Yeah, my second question about that match, the first match that you had, your moonsault. You did a moonsault that I thought was one of the best big man moonsaults that I've seen.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I don't know if you connected, but I just remember watching it on DVD. I was like, that was a great moonsault for a big guy as you were. My second question was, you worked in your WWE career. You worked as a commentator for a brand called Velocity together with Josh Matthews. My question to you, what are your thoughts on Matthews' commentating skills? Because there's kind of isn't in the internet, he's sort of like a polarizing figure in that sense.
Josh was, I thought Josh was really good. I had an opportunity to meet Josh when he was doing the Tough Enough thing, because that's where he came from. He wanted to be a wrestler, and Josh could do some good stuff in the ring. He's just a small guy, and he had an opportunity to talk. I think Josh doesn't get the credit he deserves, but when I came to Velocity and to the announce team and stuff, all I brought to it was knowledge of what the guys were doing in the ring, and that was my job. Josh really helped me out with the timing aspect and things like that. It's the same with Michael Cole and Taz. They really guided me in the right direction. But I think Josh is great. I think when he's not being a character, if that makes sense, when he's not being Josh Matthews, I think when he's being himself and talking and talking about what he knows and what he feels, I think he's a lot better. I think when he's in character mode and does that behind-the-scenes stuff, and I think that's a little cheesy for just for my liking, but I think Josh is great.
Okay. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thanks for
Thank you, brother. Good to hear from you, man.
Okay. Bye.
Another thing they just announced, actually, for Promo Last is Howard Finkel's going to be there, and they're going to do a video where you can, get in a video with the Fink, and I don't know if it's going to be some type of promo, if Fink is going to, introduce you or not, but that sounds like a lot of fun for anyone who's going to be there.
Howard Finkel's another one of those great, he's what a super guy. You have people that have been around the business, and they've been around it, and some of them know the business, and some of them care, and some of them don't care. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Finkel is a wrestling book in himself. He could tell you stories and tell you things that happen and give you dates, and he could probably give you move for move. Howard's a great guy, so I think anybody who has an opportunity to get announced by Howard Finkel, you got to take advantage of it. Yeah. Just even if it's for one night, you got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's all. Do you consider him the best ring announcer?
Ring announcer.
Or wrestling announcer.
I'm trying to figure out who I would put there. I mean, Gene Okerlund, I think, is awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's more like a backstage interview guy.
Yeah, but that's what I was trying to figure if I'd put him in. So yeah, I think Howard Finkel is definitely the best. I was gonna say Tony Chimmel, but then I would have had to shoot myself. So I couldn't even try to be funny with that one. So I'm going with Howard Finkel, hands down.
Yeah. Speaking of me and Gene, like it always seemed like you guys had like fun together when you're doing promos and stuff. Was it like as much fun as it seemed?
It was, the first time meeting Gene Okerlund was like meeting, other cats from the business. You're like, holy crap, it's Gene Okerlund and yada yada. And I watched him as a kid, and you hear that same stuff from a lot of guys. But if I want to say it this way, if Gene likes you and wants to do his thing, he sets you so at ease that any opportunity I had to be with Gene Okerlund after that was awesome. I loved it. Anytime they said, who wants to, we need a voiceover, we need something, and it was with Gene, my hand was raised. I was in the booth. I was wherever I needed to be. Great leader, good-hearted guy, fun guy, and all business.
Yeah. Now, when you're doing like an interview with him, like how much is it like written out, or is it you can just ad lib, or?
Yeah, the ad lib part was the best. Was the best for me because, like I said, Gene, that's what he did. He made you feel at ease. He kind of led you in any direction that he felt it should go as far as the interview or what you were talking about. So it was good. It was good. I guess if practice is the right word, but it was a great experience, and doing stuff with Gene was awesome.
Speaking of Gene, we actually have a caller calling in named Gene.
Hey, hi, Mr. Morris. Hi. Hi, Gene.
Well, okay, I got two questions. One of my favorite matches of all time, seeing you work in the ring was with Big Bubba, Ray Traylor. It was I believe it was at Sold Out '97. It was a Mexican death match. I was there live, and I didn't expect much from the match, but after watching it, I was just impressed to watch two big guys, go in the ring and just perform so well. I mean, you normally move like a cruiserweight. It was just amazing to me, and that was one of the first times I've ever seen you in the ring. What was it like working with Ray Traylor?
Is that the night that son of a gun ran me over with a Harley Davidson?
Yes.
I got that picture on that son of a gun. I love Ray Traylor. I got that. It's just another one of those things. I wasn't booked on that pay-per-view. It was Conan's spot. Conan had a headache or something. I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't know what the hell happened. But he wasn't there, and Bischoff looked at me, and, the kind of question is, you got your stuff? And that's a silly question. So I always have my stuff, and I was booked in the match with Ray Traylor, and I thought it was a pretty good match. Anytime you can get hit in the face with a steel chain by a 320-pound man and, give him a hug at the end of it, it's a good night. So I enjoyed it. Ray Traylor was another one of those guys that a lot of people didn't, I don't know if a lot of people knew his knowledge of the business and how to handle yourself and the right things to do, but I loved Ray Traylor. He's one of those guys I miss. But it was an awesome experience.
And another question I had, it was another independent promotion, Deep South Wrestling, and I know in the past in interviews you've mentioned Deep South that you were going to do some work with them, and that was your baby, so to speak. It was a pretty good promotion, but I think there was some issues that you had with some other higher-ups about that promotion. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I don't know if I necessarily had the issues with the higher-ups. I think the higher-ups had the issues with me and with Jody Hamilton and guys like that. I mean, Deep South I think it was a successful developmental territory and a successful, a successful independent, company. We did good things. We had great people. I guess it just didn't suit what WWE needed, and I think they were just, it's one of those things you keep trying to fix it before it's broken. I think there was a lot more behind-the-scenes crap that was the death of Deep South than anything else. But I enjoyed it. I still talk to all of the guys and the ones who made it and the ones who didn't. And yeah, Deep South was it was interesting. That's all I can. I don't know how many other words to say about that one. It was interesting.
Does it make you proud though to see guys that you helped train in the business on TV?
Oh man, it's the best. It's the best feeling ever, and it's the best feeling. They know to me that I know that they got to where they wanted to go, but the better feeling to this day, and my wife and I we talk about it all the time, is when we hear from the guys. They're on the road and they drop us a line and they touch base and they want to know what I thought of their match or their character, how things are going. They've made it, so they don't really need to know my opinion, but it sure makes you feel good to hear from them, and they still consider you their coach or whatever, and try to just talk to them about the business. But I think it's awesome that all those cats are doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. I know a guy, you helped train The Miz, right?
Yeah.
And to me, he's just, I say every week, he's like one of the best heels in WWE right now. What do you think about his current character?
I think that Mike has taken full advantage of himself, and I mean that respectfully. For a long time, people were questioning his want or need to be a wrestler. They thought it was just more reality show stuff. But this kid can wrestle. He does good things. He can talk. He's gifted. He's got freaking legitimate heat. So it's easy to. I mean, he's annoying. He's the most annoying son of a bitch you'll ever want to talk to in your life.
I hated him when he was a babyface. I was like, why is this guy on here?
Yeah, he's so freaking annoying that he's beautiful. But he's doing great. He's just another one of those guys that he stuck to it. He trains hard. He worked hard, and he's reaping the rewards. And he's not one of those guys who said, "Okay, I made it. Now I'm just gonna whatever happens, happens." He keeps getting better and moving forward. So I'm proud of him. He's a good kid, and he's one of those guys I'll just always wish well, and I'm happy to see him doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in, Gene.
Last but not least, do you have any Iron Sheik stories?
Iron Sheik stories, real quick. We went to the Cayman Islands with S.D. Jones. We were there for 3 days. We wrestled one night. The show started and we can't find the Sheik. They had to bust open his door. He was sitting in the middle of a room full of candles, getting high as a kite, telling them he was on his way. That's the end. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That was almost as long as our interview with the Sheik.
Cute. Great guy. I never had a problem with him.
Yeah. Mr. the Jack.
And he's another guy on the internet trying to kill people.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he did threaten to kill me.
Man, what is with all the hate?
Huh? I love the Sheik. He's the man, but,
The Sheik is the man.
I'd love to have him back on. I'm sure we'll have him back on sometime. I know DDP's doing the YRG seminar at Promo Last. Have you partaked in YRG?
No. I had to see. That was a nice way. No. I had the privilege of when Dallas was starting his yoga direction in WCW. He would try to get the guys to stretch and help them for longevity and stuff like that. I'm 6'2". Now I'm only 300 pounds, but I knew how to stretch and I knew what made myself tick, and I appreciated his. No, man, I did not take part in that crap. No, I did not. I'm trying so hard to. No, I can't. It's not my bag, man. It's like trying to have me go to a flea market and look at quilts. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I think Dallas is great. I think they're all awesome. I can't do that shit. You ain't seen me in no DVD. No yoga. No, I'm not taking part in it. He came to the Toughen Up 3 and he did yoga or something with and I had to do my sock drawer that day. And Dallas, he came to Deep South with Jody Hamilton and worked out with the kids. And I think I was in Peru picking coffee nuts or something. I just happened to miss it for whatever reason. But I'm not a yogurt or yoga, either way. Either way, you got to stir the fruit from the bottom, and I don't want to take any part of it.
Inchman, do you have a question from the board?
Yeah, I have a question from our message board. Glaugo13, he wants to know, what faction did you enjoy being in more? The Dungeon of Doom or Misfits in Action?
Oh, I had more. I don't want to say I had more fun in the dungeon, but if you want to read between the lines, I had more fun being part of the Dungeon of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it was a lot more wrestling fun. I just had more fun. I think when the Misfits came around, I had a lot of fun because I was just allowed to be myself. And I mean, anybody wants to look at the Dungeon, Hugh Morris, and the Misfits direction thing, it's the same guy. It was the same attitude. I just wore camouflage and tie-dye. And, you know, in the dungeon I don't know what the hell I wore. I had two faces on and stuff like that. I really enjoyed two different things. I enjoyed the hell out of the dungeon. The dungeon made my career in WCW and helped me move forward. And then the Misfits just kept my career going. So both factions were great. I like the First Family as well. But I enjoyed the Misfits a lot. I think because I had a little bit more say by that time, and I could really have be myself more.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the First Family with Jimmy Hart, and he just always seems like the nicest guy. Like you could just never be mad at him. Is he really like just a nice guy?
I dare someone to tell me they were actually ever pissed off at Jimmy Hart. Mm-hmm. I think if you're pissed off at him, it's because he's so freaking nice and he's so level-headed. Don't get me wrong, Jimmy's got a mouth on him like a sailor sometimes. I mean, he'll tear you a new one if you're acting the fool. Mm-hmm. But you know, he was just a good mentor. He was a good mentor. He was a good counselor, but he was a better babysitter. You know, and that's kind of what Jimmy was to a lot of guys, myself included. He was a babysitter. But I'll tell you one thing he never did. He didn't take no yoga class. I'll tell you that. And I love Dallas. Dallas, if you're listening, I love you, man. Don't get me wrong. Bang, I get it. You're my man. I ain't taking no yogurt.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to get the card, but he just hung up. Maybe he was offended by the no yoga.
Maybe.
Who was offended?
I don't know. Well, someone was trying to call in. Jai, do you have a question? Jai.
Yes. My question is, what do you think of the PG stuff today in WWE?
PG? What is that? What does that mean, PG?
Is that the show's rated PG instead of MA, I suppose.
Oh, I think they get away with whatever they want anyway. Some of the stuff I wouldn't, my girls are 17 and 16 almost or whatever, and I wouldn't let them watch half the stuff. But if I was doing it, I still wouldn't let them watch it. I think it's just, it's a soap opera. If you can show your ass on Hill Street Blues, you should be able to show your ass on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not, I'll be honest with you, brother, I don't pay attention to the rating of the show. When I can watch it, I watch it, and nothing offends me as far as wrestling goes, so I'm good with it. They could rate it R, I guess. Oh, wait, they do that. That's Edge's thing, right?
Yeah.
See, I watch. I know what's going on.
How would you compare NXT to Tough Enough?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't because the Tough Enough kids, I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the premise of the show is NXT is to get these cats and the winners or the best ones to put them under contract and develop them as WWE stars. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Does anybody realize, I'm sure everybody does, but I got to say it for myself because if I don't say it out loud, I won't understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Okay. These cats that are on the show are already under contract. They're already in the developmental system. They've already been there, some of them, for freaking 7 years. They already know how to, quote-unquote, wrestle. They've already built these characters, so I don't understand what the premise of the show is with them saying this guy's trying to learn from this guy and this guy. Ain't nobody learning any more on NXT than they should have already learned in developmental. If they weren't any good, they shouldn't be on. If that's the reason to get, to release them or whatever, I say boo. I say bring back Tough Enough, put them through the ringer for 3 months, see who wants to do it, and offer them a contract that way. But these guys are, I think they should let everybody know these guys have been getting paid for years or whatever the case is. That they wrestle 5 days a week. They do that kind of stuff. So I'm not a fan of NXT. I'm a fan of a couple of the guys. I'm glad they're getting, an opportunity to get on TV, but I'm not a fan of the show.
Yeah. You're not a fan of juggling and chugging sodas?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. With all the talent they got going on, I think I'm not a big fan of it. When I see Ryan Reeves dressed as a gay cowboy, I've had enough. And Ryan Reeves is my man all day long.
Yeah.
I love Ryan Reeves. I don't get the Duke Ellington or Skip Beefington or whatever the hell he's doing.
Yeah. It's like the inbred.
Skip Beefington would be a good name.
Yeah.
The other cat, the guy from I Love New York, I'm not feeling that at all.
Which one's that?
Tonga?
What's his name? David.
Yeah. The A-list, the Tonga.
A-list, whatever. I'm not. He went from I Love New York to marrying Jennifer Hudson to being a WWE wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah.
What about Heath Slater?
But you know what it is? He's there and I'm not. So I guess I can say that. What did the English guy just say?
I said, what about Heath Slater, the one-man rock band kid? I cannot stand him.
That's the redheaded kid?
Yeah.
That's Heath Miller. Deep South guy.
Okay.
I'm not feeling the character either. I just wanted to let you know I knew who it was.
All right.
Okay.
Why even when you say okay is it sarcastic?
I don't know. I told you.
You snubbed me. You are English because you snubbed me. You're like one of them snubby English cats, aren't you?
See, my nose is turned so far up I have to be British. There you go.
I can't get behind Heath Slater because I met him at Johnny Rockets, and he ordered a salad.
See, there it is. And you know why he ordered a salad? Because there's a wellness test. I don't know. I got nothing.
Right.
What is 1 inch pie about all this stuff?
Oh, I liked NXT up until last night. So, well, actually, I didn't.
What did they do last night?
Oh, they got rid of everybody.
I got a flu last night. What did they do?
They got rid of the Bry, Danielson, and they got rid of what is his name?
Skip
the guy. Yeah, Skip Sheffield.
What do you mean they got rid of Danielson?
Yeah, that's they kicked 3 people off. They kicked off Tarver, Danielson, and
so the one kid who can work out of the whole freaking mess of them, they get rid of.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they did a weird kind of angle with him where he said, "I'm not really Daniel Bryan. I'm actually Bryan Danielson." I don't know what that means, but they gave him an interview after he'd been eliminated.
That means they fired him twice.
It was kind of like all this stuff wasn't real, but the real Bryan Danielson he can beat. I don't know. It was very bizarre.
Maybe it's like the last episode of Roseanne where it was just a dream and she was writing a book.
Right. We'll just see somebody wake up next week.
Yeah, and Bobby will be in the shower with that other chick who killed Andy Gibb, and it'll all be over.
Right. That makes sense.
You know what? None of them will be in the yoga class. See, you guys are laughing like I'm making fun of it. I'm plugging the yoga class right now. Everybody in the world's going to go because Bill DeMott said don't go.
That's going to be good stuff. Kimberly's going to be part of it. I mean,
hey,
just to go and see her doing some yoga. I think
you put Kimberly, Dallas Page, and Raven in a yoga class, and I'm going just to watch.
Raven's going to be there?
Raven's only going if it's frozen yogurt with a lot of chocolate on it because my man is round.
I think didn't one of our fans ask a Raven question on the board entry?
Let's see.
I'll answer it. I know Raven very well. I'll answer it.
But Changed Man wanted to know about a story Raven told in an interview he gave a few years back about you telling Albert to give up his seat on a plane. Just wondering if you remember that.
No, I don't recall. No, I don't want to talk about it. No. Raven's full of shit. I don't even know what he's talking about. I love Scotty Flamingo. Raven's a liar.
Scotty Flamingo was...
We were in a bar in Oklahoma one time. Me, Sandman, and Raven. The waitress was triplets. I never made it back to my hotel, and I never asked Albert to give up his seat. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. Interesting. I actually heard that Yeah. I think maybe it'll be in the book.
You know what? Some of that is in the book.
So you have to buy the book to get some of these juicy details.
You have to buy the book because some of the stuff is unbelievable.
Now,
and everybody knows that Albert would always give up his seat.
I heard that you were the original 911 in ECW. Is that true?
Yeah, I think that was. I was going to be called something else, but yes, I was the 911 character, and just depending on who you talk to, I screwed it up or they screwed it up. But that's what Big Al got his push, and that worked out for everybody, I guess.
Yeah. Do you wish you had a longer run in ECW?
I look at it as if I had a longer run in ECW, I may not have had the opportunities that were put in front of me not being there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it would have been nice to get a better run and things in ECW. Yeah, but looking back, on my career and how things worked out, I think I did okay. And I think those guys in ECW were freaking fantastic. I love them all. I respect them all, and I wanted them to do well. And any chance I had to go see them, I would go see them. But I think it worked out for me, so I really have never looked at it as, man, I wish I had a better run in ECW.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad to be there at the beginning of it. I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. Do you still have the beard tail?
No, I just recently, to my wife's disliking, I shaved my face.
Oh, man. I actually have
and
a
now
beard tail right now.
I look like a 300-pound Cabbage Patch doll. I actually have the one patch on my chin, but
the soul
it
patch
drives chicks crazy to see an old man walking in Walmart with hair on his chin.
That sounds cute. Was there any more questions for the board, Ninja?
Yeah, I had a question. Dylan from our message.
Why are you laughing? Wait, why'd you laugh?
I was just asking if you're rocking the soul patch.
I am rocking. That's what I am rocking, the soul patch.
Excellent.
I am. You know what? I look good in it too.
Okay, I believe you.
I'm secretly plotting a comeback. R-Truth is going to be my mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be called Big Sweet William. I'm going to shave my head and rock the soul patch and come out in a pair of purple trunks, and the crowd's going to chant Barney.
So you're going to be in season 2 of NXT?
I'm going to be in season 2 and 3. They're going to invite me back because I'll fake an injury the first 2 weeks of the season, and then they'll sign me to a contract, send me to Tampa for 2 years, and then the next NXT I'll make my reappearance.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's smart.
And I won't be Bill DeMott. I'll be DeMott Billiamson.
Excellent.
Well,
I had a question.
I got it all figured out, guys.
Uh-huh.
I think this is a money angle.
It's money.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be a lot of money, but it's money.
Yeah.
Freaking Funaki worked for the company for 45 years. You don't think I can get another run in WWE? You know why they had to fire him? They just realized he worked there. And I love Funaki.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Blackman still works for the company. They just can't figure out where he lives.
No forwarding address?
I don't see. As soon as you talk, it ruins my groove. I don't even want to say anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Just work on the thing. What's the thing
Okay.
you can order the languages from? Get the English one and work on the English.
Rosetta Stone.
Yes, Rosetta Stone. Get the English one, brother. It works. They say in 10 minutes you can speak the language.
Excellent.
All right, but what if I try to do it as an Australian? Is this any better for you?
Oh, see, if you're Australian, now I'm digging it. Now we can talk. That's all I have
That's
to say.
beautiful. That is beautiful. Dylan from the message board, he wants to know what your opinions on this Sarge were.
The what?
The Sarge from the power plant.
The Sarge? Oh, the leprechaun?
Yeah, he could be in the Dungeon of Doom reunion. There we go.
Listen, he was brought into. He might have been the only guy asked to leave the Dungeon of Doom for being too violent. Because he legitimately would bite guys on their ass and leg. I thought the Sarge was great. I mean, unfortunately, his reputation was being an asshole in the power plant.
Mm-hmm.
But Dwayne could wrestle. I mean, he was a good wrestler. It just depends on who you talk to. My personal feeling, I love Sarge. I got along with him great. I was glad to see the leprechaun thing. I wish it would have worked out for him more and maybe some other opportunities. But you make chicken salad out of chicken shit sometimes, and you just got to do what's good. And I think he was a sweetheart of a guy. A lot of guys didn't like him because he came off, like a hard ass. But I like Dwayne. I mean, you're not going to find too many people that I've ever come across where I'm going to say anything bad about because I liked everybody, man. And as long as I didn't have a problem with them and they didn't have a problem with me, it was all good. But Sarge was a good cat. He was a funny son of a gun. He was a funny cat, and I enjoyed him chasing people around and biting him in the ass because he legitimately bit him. And I'm glad he was on my side.
So you didn't get no bites from the Sarge.
Listen, if he ever tried to bite me, I would have had to kick him because he'd run out from the back. You'd see if you remember that thing. He'd run out of the middle of nowhere, sneak up behind somebody, and take a knot out of their ass. Or so, oh my God! And he got so worked up to do that little thing. He'd get lathered up. He would foam at the mouth. He took everything he did so serious. It was like, woof. But I loved him. Dwayne, Sarge was a good cat, man.
Mm-hmm. Incher?
Dylan, he also wants to know, do you have any funny road stories with Al Snow?
No.
Oh, shoot.
What does he do?
Does he do the YRG?
What does Al do? Is he a referee? What does he do?
Oh, I think he's a wrestler of some sort.
Al Snow?
Yeah.
No, I got nothing.
I think he got famous giving everybody in the crowd a little head.
Oh, no, nothing. Al Snow gave a toast at my wedding that was about 4 minutes long. All the road stories about Al Snow I will never tell, but I'll tell this story about the wedding.
Okay.
Because some things you just can't tell on people for. So here we are at this wedding. Get married on the beach. There's Al. Al stands up, impromptu toast to the bride and the groom. The whole time I'm there, I'm shaking my head to him, no, please don't tell the story. He goes on to tell a story about this old man, this old lady, da-da-da-da-da, miserable, happy, miserable, happy. I don't know what the whole thing was, but at the end of it, he just drops the F-bomb and how somebody died, and the guy effing this and effing that, and the whole place was silent. So here I am, drunk, smoking a cigar, and laughing my ass off because only I understand Al Snow. So my wife and I laughed, and our families were in shock, and then the party resumed. Al Snow is probably, other than his sense of humor, I think Al is super smart. I love Al to death. Al saved my life with Tough Enough 3. I mean that outside of wrestling. I mean, truly is a good personal friend. Brilliant. He's the funniest son of a bitch I've ever met in my life. He never stops. We've shared a lot of good times, and I other than making fun of him or saying anything stupid, Al Snow's awesome. He's other than me, he should be the only guy brought back to WWE.
No,
simply because I don't get along with anybody else.
You mentioned a couple times about come back. Would you like to come back?
I would love. You know what? I'm probably. I don't want to say the best shape of my life because I'm not. But I've dropped like 30-something pounds. I feel good. Make no mistake, I'm banged up. I'm tore up from the floor up. But I feel good. I have the opportunity 4 or 5 days a week to train young guys. We have a training center here in Atlanta. And I've been approached about possibly going to TNA and stuff like that. But I'm also a loyal guy, so if I ever had the opportunity to go back to WWE, I would go back. But I would always entertain the possibility. Realistically, at going to be 45, I'm sure no one could care less if I came back or not. I would just simply go back to have fun. So that's why doing this thing June 5th and hanging out with the guys and seeing the fans, I take full advantage of those opportunities when they come my way because I truly enjoy wrestling and for all my sarcasm and goofing around. I love the fans. I love wrestling. And, wholeheartedly I'd entertain it. I would love to come back just to have some of these young guys try to beat the crap out of me to get over. That's what I live for. I got to live up to my reputation on the Internet.
Yeah. Is there anybody around now that you wouldn't want to mess with?
Nah. No.
Or that you think would be a good fight?
Like a legitimate good fight, wow, this would be tough?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not sweating any of it.
Are any of the guys you'd like to work with? That you haven't before?
That I haven't before. I really am a fan, other than Randy Orton, who I had the opportunity to work with and against and stuff like that. I've become a big fan of DiBiase and Rhodes, the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're awesome. I love to watch their stuff. TNA-wise, I've worked with all those guys because they're all like 10 years older than I am. But, like Rhodes and DiBiase, I'm trying to think of who else is there that I would like to see this. I would like to get in the ring with Sheamus and actually just run around with him and see what he's really about instead of what he tries to do.
Mm-hmm. You think he's gotten better though since he's not the champion? I think he's gotten better character-wise.
Well, I think there's less pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's a little more relaxed. It's a tough thing to be brought in, and what's the saying? There's only one place to go, and that's down.
Right.
But I think the pressure. A lot of people don't understand the pressure that if I don't care where you wrestled or where you've worked before you got there, but nobody knows who you are until you get there. So your career, for however long or short it was before then, didn't matter. It's what you do in front of the WWE universe and all that, nonsense. So I think it's gotten better because I think there's less pressure on him. But it also should be the theory of the more pressure, the more you should step up. I don't know him, so I'm not judging him by any means. I'm not a fan right now of what he does.
Yeah.
Did you see the episode of
Kingston?
I am too,
Kofi.
Kofi Kingston. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought his feud there when he was doing with Randy Orton, he really came off like a big star. I don't know why they stopped it.
Deep South guy, by the way, just in case. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
That was what the
Jack
MSG
Swagger, Deep South guy. Just wanted to throw that out there. Jack Swagger.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Gallows, Deep South guy. Miz, Deep South guy. Just thought I'd throw all that stuff out.
Natty
That's my
Neidhart.
sarcasm. Natty Neidhart, T.J. Wilson. all good kids, man. What do they call them? T.J. I don't know what they call them. T.J. Kid. Got it.
Tyson Kid.
Tyson Kid, whatever the hell they call him.
Did you ever tell him to shave that little thing off the top of his head?
No, I'm a big fan of that kid. I think it was a great look for him.
Yeah.
I saw the same thing one night at the Seaside Heights in New Jersey. I knocked over all the bowling pins, and I won a doll that looked like him.
Cupid
What do
doll.
they call them? Cupid dolls, yeah. So I loved it. It reminded me of my younger days.
I sometimes think he should grow that longer and then braid it.
See? It's back. That's what happened.
Can't get into it, Barb. I'm not feeling it either.
have done it like a pirate.
Oh, there you go.
Steve the Pirate.
Uh-huh.
Yarr.
Yeah. My God.
You think we'll ever see another pirate in wrestling?
I sure hope so. I just hope it's when I'm gone. I think they just, I got nothing.
Yeah.
If the
Buccaneer
great
built them
Khali
off.
could keep coming back, they could bring a pirate back.
There you go.
He started a wrestling school, apparently.
He what?
He opened a school back in India, apparently.
Come on, man. We're starting to get along and everything. He was a Deep
I've read
South guy. You know, I got in trouble for making him run.
Uh-oh. I would have liked to seen that.
Yeah, I would have liked to see it too because he never ran 3 feet in his life. But I'll give you a good story. He was working the program with the Undertaker. He was a Deep South guy. They sent him down. They knew his knees were no good. They knew his legs were no good. I mean, literally, he balances on pretzel rods.
Mm.
He's got this upper body that's immense, and then his legs are like, you know,
Toothpicks.
I got snot balls bigger than his legs. So he was tired, and he was moving like crap, so he fell into the blame Bill DeMott, and he told him I made him run during practice and squat. So I got called up and bitched out about how the Undertaker's in jeopardy of getting hurt by some big Slapahontas Indian because I made him run. And I really took that as a compliment that they thought I could make a 7'4" giant run.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, after I got in trouble for that, I did beat his ass on more than one occasion.
Nice.
So,
Excellent.
How would that go about?
what's that?
Like, how would you go about beating his ass?
When he did something he wasn't supposed to do because he loved to smile. So every time he smiled, I would bring my knuckles across his chin. And it was like smacking your dog in the nose.
Excellent.
And then when I got him on his back, I would ride him like a polo pony.
That
And then he'd
sounds
get
hot.
mad and try to throw me and blow himself up, and then I'd send him home.
Ever used the old soap in the sock?
Yeah, but I always waited till everybody was out of the building.
Excellent.
Is that not the same thing?
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
that was I think it was a Full Metal Jacket reference.
Moving on.
All right. Lex
Al
Luger.
Snow taught me that.
Oh, okay. So the soap in the sock, or the moving on?
Oh, no, just wait until everybody's out of the building.
Oh, okay.
Ever been to wrestler court?
No, I've been privy to a few, but I've never been to wrestler's court. Thankfully, that's a big deal, by the way, man. A lot of people mock that term and stuff. I've seen a lot of grown men broken down, but I've never been pulled into wrestler's court.
So you're on like the jury?
No, I just hear about it. I don't know anything.
Innocent bystander.
I heard about it one time in the back of a thing, and the thing happened, and then there was no more things.
No.
That is the kind of stories you will get in the book.
Yes, and there's a lot of things in the story.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Wrestler's court.
Now, is that something that just happens in WWE, or is that something that just happens in all of wrestling?
No, there was wrestling. There was wrestlers' court in WCW and there's in WWE, and it's all kidding aside, it's a serious deal. I mean, if you really screw the pooch to the point where you got the boys pissed off, and it has nothing to do with the office. It has to do with the boys. And the thing I try to tell all the young guys coming in, you better learn how to act in a locker room and act like a professional, because the office can't save you. You know, they may fire you, but they can't save you. I mean, if you've got a terrible reputation within the boys in the locker room, you're screwed. And I dare you to go to wrestler's court and take it lightly. I mean, that freaking Zach Gowen was kept home for the last 6 months before they actually let him go because they knew when he came back he was going to get it. You know, wrestler's court's no joke, but it's everywhere. I'm sure people try to duplicate it in the smaller companies and stuff like that. But during my time, wrestler's court was no joke. I don't know if it still goes on or if anybody's completely that stupid or if things are still run as tightly as they used to be.
You mentioned Zach Gowen. What was he like? Because I heard an interview with him. He actually kind of seemed pretty arrogant. What was he like?
I met him. He was like this happy-go-lucky kid, and he just wanted to wrestle and wanted an opportunity because of his handicap or however you want to politically say it, and all this other shit. And the next thing you know, he thought he was the next best thing. I mean, Hulk Hogan was lucky to be in the same building as him and crap like that. I mean, he really started to believe his own shit. And he pissed in everybody's Cheerios, and they were gutting for him. I mean, he really believed what people were saying about him and how they were, trying to build him up and this, that, and the other thing, and he really believed it. So I thought it was a shame. I thought it was a freaking shame.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he comes off as an arrogant. I mean, he just believes his own. And if that works for him, good for him. I mean, I from what I understand, he gets bookings and he's doing okay. But I'm not a fan of that stuff.
Yeah. I always said, speaking of pirates, they should have brought him in as peg leg pirate, peg leg Gowan.
Yeah.
Good
But
stuff.
he believed his own stuff. I mean, they literally kept him off the road because they knew when he came back that Office could not help him. The boys were going to get him.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take one last caller here. Afro's calling in from Wales.
Hello.
Hello.
I was just wondering, since I read recently online that you were the last person to, your last TV match was with Chris Kanyon. What were your thoughts on Chris Kanyon as a wrestler and as a person?
My last TV match was Chris Kanyon.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Wow. You know what? It could be. I think maybe Chris's last TV match was with me. Because I think I was there a little while longer than Chris was. But I know what you mean. I was just having fun with you. I like Chris. I thought it was a shame to get the news. And, that's the only time my phone starts ringing is when something bad happens. So I always sit down and when I answer my phone and crap like that. And then, the internet blows up and then everybody has stories to tell. And I got a couple requests for stories about Kanyon. And my answer to everybody with that stuff is I got nothing to say because they don't want to talk about the good things and this and that. When these cats are alive and doing their thing, nobody wants to talk about them. They want to hear about when they died and how they died and why they died. And anyway, that's my soapbox thing. I loved Chris. Chris and I got along well in and out of the ring. We had some really good conversations. He was another one of those funny cats. He loved wrestling, man. He lived it. He was sleeping wrestling. Very serious about his craft and what he wanted to do. I think he got he got a little bit ahead of himself when we got to WWE. Him and I tagged a lot against the APA and guys like that, and he didn't gel with those guys simply because he was just too, I think, outgoing. Let's do this, and let's do this, and let's do this when, there's a game plan. Mm-hmm. But I was sad to hear that, as with all the guys that have passed, because unfortunately, and fortunately, they were all friends of mine. I have had ties to all of them. Chris was great in the ring. As wrestling goes, Chris was great. He loved wrestling. He loved to do anything for wrestling. He had a great mind. He had a great attitude. And I think people should stop judging the guys who are losing by anything other than wrestling. So as a wrestler, he was a good cat, and I'll miss him. And I enjoyed the times we spent together in and out of the ring. But I liked Chris.
Yeah.
Sad story.
I know Glacier is going to be at the Promo Last event, and I was just wondering if you thought Mortis could have had like a longer run, because I really liked that character.
I think all those characters could have had a longer run. Mm-hmm. I just think it was one of those things where let's fix it before it's broken. I mean, they put a ton of money and time into. Who was it? It was Ernest Miller. Ernest Miller is another guy who'll be there.
Yeah.
It was Ernest Miller. It was Glacier. It was Raft. It was Mortis. They put a ton of time and energy into these guys, and I don't know if they really saw it through. Again, just my opinion, but I think Mortis really could have went somewhere, and Glacier was a good deal. And I think they just, as they started taking things away from them, their entrances and their video packages or whatever it was, and the guys just kind of got lost in the shuffle. So I think as a wrestler, it's disheartening when you put that much energy and time and thought into your project, and then it's kind of swept away.
Yeah.
But awesome? Yeah, I agree. That was a good character.
Mm-hmm. We'll let you go here. I want to thank you for coming on. And let everybody know it's Promo Last Atlanta Pro Wrestling Reunion Fan Fest, June 4th and 5th at the Renaissance Concourse Center in Atlanta, Georgia. You get all your ticket information at promolastevents.com. And one guy we haven't mentioned that's also going to be there, and that's Lex Luger. Do you have any stories on Lex?
No, I got one. To me, it's a funny story, but like I said, it's in the book. I'm happy. On a personal note, I'm happy for Lex. I know he's been doing the church tours and things like that, and Lex has had a rough go of things. I don't care what everybody else. Again, outside of the wrestling community, people always have an opinion. The man's been through a lot over the past couple of years. I hope he's doing well. I look forward to seeing him and saying hello. I know some of the guys that I train have had the opportunity to meet him and have said hello for me, but I look forward to seeing a lot of these guys. And then people should take advantage of coming out to see the wrestlers they like. Don't come out to judge us for anything other than what we did for a living and what we do for a living. Just come out and have a good time. And when you get a chance to meet a Lex Luger and a Ted DiBiase and a Booker T and Dallas Page and Orndorff and Sullivan, you get all these characters in one building. Come out, have a good time. Get your tickets, whether you get them early or late. I don't know how it's done. Just come down and say hello to us and let us make you laugh and take a couple pictures with us and have a good time. But I look forward to seeing Lex and guys like that because I spent a lot of years with these guys on the road and on a day-to-day basis. So it's going to be a lot of fun for me as well as for the fans. And you guys are always great. I enjoyed being on your show. I thank you for putting up with my nonsense. Just as long as everybody knows it's just that. It's just nonsense. I love wrestling. Everybody I was poking fun at, I have the utmost respect for. And I just appreciate the opportunity, guys, and I hope to see everybody out there on June 4th and 5th.
Cool. Thanks for coming on. Love to have you back sometime.
Yes, anytime. I appreciate it, guys. Except for, even the Australian guy, he's okay. I like him.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Let the boogie man feel good. I'm telling my people, all my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss this one. They're gonna be balling squad climb the wall. Old time Jubilee blood gonna flow like wine. Woo, must that boogie man feel good. Yeah. See you, Jack. See you, 1S.